Is Star Wars The Last Jedi the best Star Wars movie ever? Find out in this review. Star Wars The Last Jedi officially opened to the public on December 14th, and I can't believe that the day finally came. To my current subscribers, thank you for your support, and to my new subscribers and viewers, welcome. The holidays were a little crazy, plus I had been a little sick a little bit over the past few weeks. I'm actually still a little bit under the weather, but I am finally getting well enough to where I can start doing videos again, so expect to see a lot more videos coming out in the next few weeks from me. Anyway, this is a non-spoiler review for anyone who has not seen The Last Jedi yet, so don't worry, I should have my spoiler review coming out sometime soon. Star Wars The Last Jedi is a continuation of Star Wars The Force Awakens. The Last Jedi is directed by Rian Johnson with music scored by John Williams. It was a treat to see The Last Jedi on opening night. The theater was packed and people were actually lining up 2 hours before their showtime. Since I saw the double feature with The Force Awakens followed by The Last Jedi, there was a brief video introduction by director Rian Johnson, and also there was a short special, sort of documentary featuring John Williams and his involvement in composing the soundtrack. Star Wars The Last Jedi stars a lot of people from The Force Awakens and introduces us to a few new characters. I like what they did with some of the smaller side characters, such as Domhnall Gleeson, who plays General Hux. He's this kind of serious, snarly general, and he's used actually quite a bit for comedy relief in this movie because of his serious nature. Also, what they did in this film is they took John Boyega's character Finn and expanded on a little bit of his story with us. But I think there was a little bit too much time spent with his character in some parts of the movie. I thought they spent a little too much time involving us with the new character played by Kelly Marie Tran. Her name was Rose in this movie, and she was a little bit of a sweetheart, but I thought a little more editing could have been done to cut out many of the scenes that she was in because it seemed to take up a lot of screen time. Laura Dern is also now part of the Star Wars universe as she plays Vice Admiral Amilyn Holdo. She did a great job. I always like Laura Dern and the roles that she's played as she brings a real sensitivity to her roles, and I think she did just as well in this leadership type of role in this movie. We also get to see a little more of Gwendolyn Christie as Phantasma in The Last Jedi. She does a tremendous job with her scenes. She is quite a menacing presence in this movie, although her scenes are short. We also get introduced to a character that Benicio del Toro plays, but his part is relatively minor in some regard, and he didn't really get too much screen time. What the movie did well was also give us more insight into Poe Dameron and his character's way of thinking. I thought his character was great in The Force Awakens, and I also thought he was just as great in The Last Jedi, staying true to his form and also learning a few things along the way. Of course, the big thing with The Force Awakens is Luke Skywalker. Mark Hamill's role as Luke Skywalker definitely was a showcase for his acting. He hasn't really been on the screen in a long time, other than his voice acting, which technically doesn't count as being on the screen, but he steals the show in The Last Jedi, and this, I would say, is Mark Hamill's movie. It is, of course, very bittersweet that we have Carrie Fisher playing her role as Leia one last time, and she does a tremendous job, certainly for reprising her role as General Leia. I also like Daisy Ridley's role as Rey in this movie. She definitely has a story arc in The Last Jedi, and her character grows in learning how to use the Force. We have a few surprises along the way with her as well, with Adam Driver who plays Kylo Ren. You've seen in the trailers there might be some sort of connection between the two of them, and we find out more in this movie just what happens, but I'm going to save a little more details for that in my spoiler review. What really surprised me about this movie was just how well Andy Serkis performed with lending his vocal talents to playing the ultimate Supreme Commander Snoke. We are definitely shown just how powerful Snoke is in this movie. Also, I have to say I was a little worried when I saw this tiny little creature right next to Chewbacca in the latest trailer that was kind of roaring, and I was a little worried. I thought, oh my gosh, what is this, the next Jar Jar Binks? However, it was handled very well. These little creatures are totally adorable. They are called porgs. I couldn't get enough of them, though thankfully they were not overused. As with all Star Wars movies, the visuals in this movie were just amazing and breathtaking, and I would not be surprised if they got some sort of nomination come Oscar time for at least visual effects. I love that the movie had a real deep sense of balance. We got to see actual equal parts of screen time for just about all the characters, except maybe, like as mentioned before, they spent a little bit too much on the side characters in some parts of the movie, which I thought were not entirely necessary to move the story forward. But also, what was surprising about the movie was that there was quite a bit of comedy, which made it even more enjoyable to watch, and we also get a few surprise characters along the way. There were also a few of those oh wow moments that make me want to see the movie again. And just as in all Star Wars movies or newer Star Wars movies, you get some things that are old and some things that are new. So it's going to have some sort of a nostalgic feel, but at the same time, it's breaking new territory. And I think Rian Johnson did an amazing job as director of this movie. A little funny side story about this movie was that the crowd was in so much anticipation for The Last Jedi because I went to see a double feature where I got to see The Force Awakens first, followed by The Last Jedi, and after The Force Awakens ended and the credits were opening for The Last Jedi, guess what showed up on the screen? We got to see episode 7, The Force Awakens, again. So somebody messed up and they were playing The Force Awakens twice. That didn't last too long, thankfully, and the theater people took care of that very quickly, so that once the correct opening credits rolled for The Last Jedi, the crowd just went crazy, especially once the classic Star Wars music scored by John Williams started playing, and especially once the opening credits started rolling with the synopsis of the movie. So, guys, I've got to tell you, I have never seen the movie theater so crowded as I did when I saw Star Wars The Last Jedi. It was packed. Almost everyone in attendance there was there to see Star Wars. We had fans that were dressed up as their favorite Star Wars characters. I even saw some fans that were wielding lightsabers, which made it a really fun event to see on opening night. I give Star Wars The Last Jedi an 89% rating. It is not the best Star Wars movie, but it's an improvement on The Force Awakens and adds more depth to the saga. I would have to give A New Hope the award for Best Star Wars Movie. The main characters in The Last Jedi are generally given a fair amount of screen time to get us better acquainted with them, and the story arc of Luke, Rey, and Kylo is expanded here. The movie makes generally good use of the 2.5 hours runtime, but tighter editing could have probably cut out some time-consuming scenes that didn't really seem to add much to the story. This is a big screen movie. It will be the biggest grossing movie this year domestically and globally, and you really have to see it on the big screen to truly appreciate it the way it was meant to be seen. See it when you can. Be prepared for lines if you're seeing it early without any sort of reservations. Come at least half an hour to maybe even an hour early in case you're worried that there might be a line. The Last Jedi has earned an A Cinema Score rating, which is identical to the opening night audience scores received for the two previous Star Wars movie installments, The Force Awakens and Rogue One. On IMDb, it currently has an average user rating of 8.2 on the site. On the professional Metacritic average, it currently enjoys an 86% score rating and a very high 94% rating on Rotten Tomatoes. Movie-loving fans, thank you so much for checking out my channel and my review. Remember to spread the word. And also, as I try to do with all big opening movies, here are a few audience reactions from some of the amazing, awesome Star Wars fans that I got to talk to after the movie.
It was amazing. I've been a fan since I was a little kid, and I was very surprised to see it come back like this, or since the 7th came out. Let me just tell you, it's amazing. You gotta watch it. Great movie, man.
I don't know where they're gonna go with this now. Like, they changed, there's just some major stuff that happens in this movie, and it's gonna blow your mind away. There's nothing much to say. I don't want to spoil anything, but I mean, it's crazy. So you're gonna enjoy it probably, yeah.
It was my new favorite Star Wars movie. I'm kind of obsessed with Kylo Ren, so there's a bit of a twist in there that I was not expecting, and the fight scenes were all really good, and I was overall very happy about it.
It was longer than any other movie, which I liked because you always finish all the other movies wanting more. I think it was a nice ending. I feel that it answered a lot of questions, and I think it was great.
All right, well, we just got out of the double feature, episodes 7 and 8. It was spectacular. Without giving any spoilers, I would say it breaks open the Force. It was a really good movie. I think Rotten Tomatoes gave it a 94. I would agree with that. It was good. There wasn't anything like episode 7. If you had any dislikes toward it, this definitely responded very well to that. Just a really good movie. I think what they did with Luke keeps him in his epic saga. Everything that they did with him was epic. I think the way they built up and built on the characters that they had before, especially Rey and Kylo, incredible. So I think anybody watching, you're going to really enjoy Star Wars Episode 8.
If I could give it more than a 10, I would totally give it more than a 10. I'd give it a 20, 30, 40, 50. That's how good it was.
It was really.
Yeah, it was really good. Threw some curveballs at you, kept you on your toes all movie. Really good.
It plays with a lot of emotions. So if you're a crier, you will cry. The action was really good. The climatic scenes were really good. The action, the cinematic, really good. Carrie Fisher. Rest in peace, though.
The movie was good. I really recommend it. There's really a lot to expect. I didn't expect a bunch of stuff to happen.
The movie itself was pretty legit. I mean, it had a lot of action from start to finish. So, I mean, I think a lot of people will actually be very impressed with how this movie ends and how it all portrays to the very end.
Much better than the Force Awakens. That movie was crap. You know, if you're a true fan, you realize it was just a remake of the previous A New Hope. But I guess our voices were heard, and they realized that you can't mess up a Star Wars movie. So just get creative. You know, they already know the recipe for what works. You know, good writing, good actors, great locations, new characters. So this had everything. So overall, it's worth watching. And you want to do it with good seating. Don't be like me and, you know, just accept any seat that they had. But being uncomfortable, that you want to be comfortable when you watch it. You want to feel like you're at home. And just, you know, let your mind open up, and so you can absorb every moment. And there was some amazing things that happened. And overall, I'll probably watch it again. You know, I enjoyed it. You know, I'm looking forward to the next movies that are coming out, and you know, and now that Disney bought Fox, you know, we're gonna have much more of, you know, the like Game of Thrones style, not rated R, but you know, the sagas of like Obi-Wan Chronicles. So I'm really looking forward to that.